they had a founding philosophy of monkey wrenching, which was economic sabotage against entities accused of profiting from environmental destruction.
You must have hated Greece then, huh?
Right?
Welcome to Nice Ashes. Join hosts Mike and Nate for cigars and culture. Let's go beyond the smoke.
What are we smoking today, Mike?
We are smoking the La Aurora y León Maduro Torpedo. Well, I believe it's the Belicoso, which is a size larger. This is a big cigar.
It's big. It's nice and firm.
Very firm.
If I'm going to put something in my mouth, I'd like it to be firm.
Oh, fucking A. Shout out. I got these as a gift from my brother-in-law. He was born in the Dominican Republic, and he got these on a trip back home. Oh, it was a while ago, last year.
Sure.
So I've had them in the humidor for a while. He gave me a few, and we're going to try them on the show. Hopefully they're good. I know that the last time he gave me a cigar, it was excellent, and it was a Dominican that he picked up there.
Nice.
I am pairing this with a 20-year aged rum from Panama.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Kirkland. So.
Kirkland. Okay. They have some pretty good liquors, you know.
Yeah.
I'm pairing mine with a Lagunitas Hesychus Maximus, which is a hazy IPA, and it comes in at around 9%. Ooh. I like. It's a good start.
Oh, yeah. Holy smokes, that's got some pepper in there. Ooh. Ooh, that cleared the nose instantly. Wow.
Maybe we don't even talk this episode. We just enjoy this.
Let's skip the fire and we'll talk about the cigar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is a good start. Good start. I love it.
Yeah, it's got the spice, but it's got some, I think, nutty flavors to it as well.
Yeah, it's got a lot of nuttiness, very peppery and spicy, really strong nose note. Even when I don't blow it out the nose, you can feel it in your sinus, and dark, very dark. But it's got that roundedness because, like as you say, it's got that nuttiness, which I usually associate with a medium-bodied cigar.
Yep.
But I think we're going to be in for a good one this time around.
I think so.
Oh yeah, she's going to smooth off. I love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. We're not talking more about fires, are we, Mike?
We're talking about fires.
Multiple ignition points.
There's a trend. That's all I'm saying. There's a trend. So, previous episodes, we talked about fires in different countries and maybe some pattern recognition type situations. Unsure. We're not experts. But this time, we're going to talk about a different kind of fire. And these are arson cases where we know the cause, and it's either a fringe group or an individual. So we have my base document, I believe, on our Patreon, right? Is that the one?
Yeah, we've got the base document, we've got the second refined document, and we'll put this document on there as well. So there'll be 3 different documents, but you can go there and get this. They're not behind a paywall. You can just get them and look at them.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody's actually going to look at them, but we don't want to be pulling the wool over your eyes. The goal is to be informative and possibly entertaining.
The goal is vision, not blindness.
Yes. So we're going to start her off. I don't remember the group, but I did watch the Jay and Silent Bob movie, which this group is loosely a part of. Have you seen that movie, Nate?
Yeah, I've seen all of the Jay and Silent Bob movies. Was not excited, did not enjoy the most recent one, which was the reboot or something?
Yeah, Sarah and I watched that. We bought Clerks 3 and haven't watched it yet. I don't know why we haven't, but we did buy it on DVD. So
okay.
We've been waiting. I believe Sarah's seen Clerks 2, but never Clerks 1. Okay. So we're waiting for her to want to watch Clerks 1 to start the marathon.
Okay.
Anyway,
I've seen Clerks 1, the director's cut, which has a very dark ending and is not conducive to the sequel. And then Clerks 2 has got some of the most quotable lines ever.
Oh, Clerks 2 is That's a great movie. I like Clerks. I like the original Clerks. Don't
Oh,
get
me
wrong,
too.
but
Me too.
Hard to go wrong with the Moobies employees fighting back or whatever. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk about the group one. This is called ELF, or The Family. And ELF is short for the Earth Liberation Front, which was a radical offshoot of Earth First, which is an environmental movement, and it was started in the UK in 1992. They had a founding philosophy of monkey wrenching, which was economic sabotage against entities accused of profiting from environmental destruction.
They must have hated Greece then, huh?
Right? Oh, man. It's so funny. This next line is going to make you laugh, Nate. The ELF used a deliberate leaderless resistance model. No membership, no hierarchy, no central command. Which we know that's not how things work.
In death, members of Project Mayhem have names. His name was Robert Paulson.
Oh, man.
So they're what? They're pretending they're just like amoebas?
Yeah.
Like bouncing around in a petri dish, but they have like clearly identified targets.
Some of these left-wing groups, they like to pretend like they're leaderless. Like we're all equal animals on the farm, right?
Yeah,
we're
some
all
more
equal
so than
animals
others.
on the farm, but some animals are more equal than others. Yeah. Very dystopian, some of these groups.
Orwellian.
Yeah, Orwellian. Yeah. So in the United States, the most active cell was known internally as The Family, which was a tightly networked group from Eugene, Oregon.
Not Oregon. They don't have any liberals there.
No liberals in Oregon, only hillbillies.
Only family members.
Mm-hmm. Very similar to the Manson family. You would think that this would be a cue. If you're involved in a group and they start calling you family, you know they're liars, whether it's work or not.
Yeah.
You know they're not being honest.
So I have a question, and you might not know this, and this might not be relevant. How does a group from Brighton, UK, find its way to Eugene, Oregon, which is almost on the other side of the globe?
Well, through
if not exactly, but
no membership, leaderless resistance, no hierarchy, and
how
no
could it
central
find
command.
its way anywhere?
That's how they spread like that. Yeah.
I'm sure it's like
That's
one
how.
person that went there on a sabbatical or something and came back and was like, you know what? Instead of contributing an essay to Sparked, I'm going to start ELF.
Gotta be. There is no central command for ELF. Right?
Yeah.
So we have a list of attacks. The first is going to be the most impressive, then we're going to, pedal off after that.
That's how it always goes, isn't it, with these groups?
Basically, I mean, it's always a failure, right? You're doing something that you know ain't good, and you're trying to organize en masse, and it's not like you're doing something in your local community, so you have no idea what's actually going on.
Well, it's leaderless, Mike.
It's leaderless. And they're from Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really important because the first attack was in Vail, Colorado.
Sure.
Which, for non-U.S. listeners, is 1,000 miles away, maybe even 1,500 miles. It's a long way. Multiple
and
states
fucking
over.
ritzy, isn't it?
Yeah, Vail is a very
That's where they
rich
go in
area.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if you're going to burn property down in Vail, odds are good that you're involved with real estate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So, Vail, 1998. A bunch of environmental groups lost a legal battle to block Vail expansion into Blue Sky Basin, which I think was a protected lynx habitat. So, ELF decided to burn down the lynx habitat that they just decided they were going to build a ski resort on. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And did $12 million in infrastructure damage.
Protect the lynx by burning down the lynx's habitat.
Yes. And then they built the resort anyway because they'll plant trees.
Now it's not a forest. Now it's classified as something else, right, Greece?
Right, Greece. Yeah, it's nothing there's no coordination or head of leadership for ELF. They're a family.
A
Families don't
rudderless
have
ship
leaders.
hits all rocks or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. It's great. In 2001, ELF burned down an engineering department, a genetic engineering department at the University of Washington.
Okay.
Apparently, they destroyed 20 years of plant research documentation, And the group self-admitted that they burned the wrong target down because...
Yeah, it says none of which involve genetic engineering.
That's correct. That is correct. According to the government,
Okay.
of course,
All right. So, I mean, like one is an anomaly. 2 in a row is starting to sound to me like maybe a leaderless resistance model might not be the best way to structure your organization. I don't
Probably
know.
not.
I'm not a resistance fighter kind of person, but
Probably not. The next one is equally as good.
I'm sure they're all equally.
So they targeted some lumber operations, some vehicle dealerships, and land developments.
But specifically SUV dealerships.
SUV, well,
I
yeah,
remember when
SUV
the huge
dealerships, yeah.
outcry against SUVs was happening, and then Hummer was like, you know what, we're just going to make a bigger one.
I remember being anti-SUV as a young man.
Okay.
And I still am. The version of the SUV that existed in the late 90s, which was like my mother had a 4-wheel drive. She had a Explorer Sport track. Or no,
Sure.
It was not a sport track. It was an Explorer Sport. And it was similar to like a Bronco where it had a big V8, 2 doors, and a hatchback. And the thing was 1.5 feet tall, and you could lock it into 4-wheel drive and spin all 4 tires because it had a real short wheelbase with a big V8 motor and 4-wheel drive, which is really cool if you want to go off-roading. But if you're a school teacher with a child, you probably don't need that vehicle.
Yeah.
Which my mom traded it off and got a, what the hell did she get? She had a Tracer, which was a station wagon, and then she got some sort of sedan. So this was like a short-term vehicle for her, But a lot of people had those.
Well, it's interesting. You were anti-SUV, and I grew up pro-SUV. And since driving my own vehicles and buying my own vehicles and paying insurance on my own vehicles. I guess like in high school, I was anti-SUV because my grandpa and dad were always like, rah, American automotive makers and things. And I was like, why wouldn't I just buy like a Honda or Toyota because they run for fucking ever and you get 1,000 miles per gallon on the gas, and they're like, well, that's anti-American and blah, 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 blah. But, to some extent, it's like, you know what, if you want to have a huge SUV, like, we thought the Hummers were cool, but I would never buy one, no matter how cool I thought it was. I wouldn't buy one because it doesn't make sense for what I do and what I need. But
I was never pro Hummer. I'm pro some Hummers, but not the vehicle kind. However, as I got older...
You dirty boy!
Yeah, I know, right? I think that a Suburban or something like a Suburban has a definite place. I would love to have a Suburban for hunting and towing, but Nate knows my personal situation. Most of the listeners probably all do too. My pickup only gets used for hauling shit. So if I were to buy a Suburban, it would replace my pickup and it would only be used for hauling shit. I would not use it as a daily driver. We have a Kia Soul that is our daily driver. And I think I'll always have a small 4-door car as a daily driver. It just makes sense. I live in Minnesota. They plow the road. I don't need a pickup to get to the fucking store. Even in a blizzard, you don't need a pickup.
Yeah, and where we live, even in Minneapolis to some extent, right? If you want to go do things, it could be a 30-mile drive. So you're not taking your Hummer or your Suburban or whatever all of the time. Like, it just makes more sense to take like a city runner or something that gets good gas mileage. And they do plow the road. So as long as you have something front wheel drive, it doesn't really matter.
When I lived in North Dakota, I had a 2-wheel drive car. I had a rear wheel drive pickup for a while. And then I had a front wheel drive car. And I might have told the story on the show before, but I'm going to tell it again. I got stuck in my apartment for an entire winter because I couldn't get my car onto the street. I had a Honda Accord. Couldn't get it onto the street. They did not plow my street, and it got all rutted, and I couldn't pull out. So the only way I could get to the grocery store is I got permission from my general foreman to use my work truck, as I was driving a work truck home every day, to do my errands. And I got permission to like go to the grocery store, and I just told him, I was like, dude, I can't get out of my fucking apartment in my car because I have a Honda Accord, which you have seen. Like, I cannot physically leave my apartment in my car anymore. And then that prompted me to buy a pickup. And I've had the same one ever since. There's a time and a place for everything, and it's highly dependent on where you live.
It's largely circumstantial.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I lived in Minneapolis, I certainly would get a smaller vehicle. There would be no reason for me to have my big ass pickup. So
Yeah, unless you also had a boat and, like...
Even then, I think I could get away with a smaller pickup, but...
Oh, yeah, a smaller pickup for sure, but...
Yeah. So, something a little small. I have a big pickup. There's no reason not to. I have a very large garage, and I live in the middle of nowhere. And it's paid for. And I don't drive it anywhere, so I put fewer than 5,000 miles a year on it, that's for sure.
Yep.
And as I say, it's paid for, so who cares? Anyway, and then, again, attacking logging operations. Logging operations rebuild forest in the United States. We don't clear cut, we cut and plant, so... That makes no sense. It's highly illogical.
Select cutting, I think, is what it's called, right?
Well, they'll clear cut, but then they'll replant, or they'll do a select cut and then allow the strong trees to replant and regrow, and they do a cycle. There's multiple strategies. It all depends on where you're at. Paper milling, they usually clear cut and then replant. It's highly dependent on the location, but they always replant. They never cut and then don't replant, ever. There's always a regrowth. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right. They had a fourth operation, which was attempting to force government action on climate change, which they don't really have any documentation. They started a bunch of small fires that never had any impact. And apparently...
Like what? In their backyard?
Yeah, apparently they started a bunch of small fires
that
that didn't have any effect. So, yeah. And they did a bunch of stuff. So we're going to get into their key operations. So 96, they destroyed a U.S. Forest Service ranger station in Detroit, Oregon, which was $5,000 worth of damage. In 97, they destroyed a BLA horse corral. And they freed a bunch of wild horses.
This is like, what, 3 dudes in a garage or something?
I guess so. They freed a bunch of wild horses, which they were going to cull, I'm sure, in California. Yeah. This is in California.
Yeah.
Which, depending on your location, I'm sure wild horses are an environmental damage, risk. In 98, as we discussed, they burned down some ski resort stuff in Vail. They did the most damage, but they didn't do anything there.
It didn't change the outcome.
Yeah, it didn't change the outcome. In 1989, they burned down a transmission station in Oregon, which disrupted power for some people for a little bit of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In 2001 is when they attacked the Center for Urban Horticulture at the University of Washington, which destroyed a bunch of research for plant development, but no genetic research.
Yeah, no genetic.
Which is what they said they were after. Again, in 2001, they attacked a BLM, Bureau of Land Management, horse holding facility and released a bunch of wild horses again, I guess.
Okay. I mean,
whatever.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Oh, this is the best, dude. Seattle Street of Dream Homes, Echo Lake, Washington. They spray painted built green, nope black. And apparently it's cost $7 million. That sounds like some corruption for some spray paint.
Well, yeah.
Like,
they spray painted.
And then 08 to 2010, that's the one we talked about. They started a bunch of fires and fucked up some logging sites and, destroyed some auto dealerships, I guess.
I mean, I guess it's on par with those people that were burning down Tesla dealerships not that long ago, but...
Well, yeah, they were burning down Tesla dealerships, and then
whatever.
They were burning down Tesla cars right on the street.
Yeah.
Which is goofy, because it's like an electrical fire with a battery, and it's terrible for the environment.
Well, and it's leaderless because you're burning down a car that's already been bought and paid for, or a dealership that is not Elon Musk. So if you hate Elon Musk, burning down a Tesla dealership isn't really damaging him, or burning down people that already have bought and paid for the Teslas because he's already got the money for it or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense, really.
That's similar
if you think
to
about
people rioting and burning down their own local pharmacy.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why there's a lot of accusations of agent provocateurs, because actions like that do not make sense.
Well,
do not burn down your own neighborhood.
I think
Go
they've
to the
been
courthouse
proven
and burn
to
that
be provocateurs, in some of the recent incidences for sure. But
there's during the Minneapolis situation that happened a few years ago.
Yep.
When Precinct 3 lit on fire, the person that was videotaped doing it was a known provocateur, an agent of the government. So we know there are plants. It's similar to the riots that happened in LA around the same time, where pallets of bricks just magically showed up on the street, right? Like,
Yeah.
pallets of bricks don't just get dropped on the street. I'm not buying a pallet of bricks and having it dropped on the street. Even if I could not afford the whatever it costs to have Home Depot drop it off the truck. I can't afford it to have it at my own house, let alone on the street. So
If you could afford it even, you wouldn't have it dropped off in the street. It'd be in your fucking yard on your property where it would be at least somewhat legally protected.
well, right. I'd have it dropped off on my proproperty so I could build my little walking path through my new garden that I'm building. I'm not going to have it dropped off on the street in fucking LA or whatever, wherever. List of key actors for the elf. We're going to run through them quick. William Avalon Rogers, who was apparently a cell leader in the leaderless movement, who hung himself under FBI custody in 2005.
What?
Crazy, right? Crazy.
There must
Real
be some
weird.
kind of thing, right? Like if you're in
Maricopa
custody,
County. Woo! They're famous.
in some kind of custody by the government, you just hang yourself, right?
Yeah. And then they have a bunch of other people. They all spent some time in jail. Some of them got immunity because they flipped. It doesn't really matter. These people are all freaks anyway.
Well, again, this document will be on our Patreon. So you can look. I don't know if Mike's getting sassy with me or if he's like stressed about time.
No, I'm not stressed about time. It's just a matter of like,
Oh, he's just
they
mad
have all
at
these
me.
named
Okay, thank
people.
God.
They are all in jail for being a part of this leaderless group, and yet the FBI is assigning them positions in this leaderless organization. So it's all bullshit. We have,
He's a don. He's a capo. Like whatever.
Yeah. Like, we have a leader. We have all of his little followers. We have an informant that flipped. We know these is like a terror cell, and they did some low-level crimes, basically.
They freed some wild horses.
They freed some wild horses on multiple occasions
some wrong
and burned
targets.
burned down some SUV dealerships and some fire stations.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? It's a BLM. Like, they destroyed BLM land. Like, that's going to help us.
They're the worst terrorists we've ever heard of, but you have heard of us.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, with the elf prosecutions rested fundamentally on two informants, which raises serious concerns about the boundary between investigation and manufacturing of crime. Now, who would have thought that the FBI might be manufacturing crime?
I mean, one of these people's names is in quotes, so...
Yeah, Anna. Name withheld.
Perfect.
Name withheld. It's great. It's wonderful.
It says Anna infiltrated.
Yes. Oh, yes. So the first one's Jacob Ferguson.
Yeah.
Who flipped. Apparently, he was involved with all of these fires, and he was a co-founder of the family cell.
Apparently, of the leader.
But he wasn't the leader. But he wasn't the leader. The leader killed himself in jail.
Okay.
They did not recruit him, so they say.
Sure.
So they say. And all of his comrades who all participated in fewer attacks than he did all received sentences. So
they did not recruit him.
One.
Sounds like something somebody who recruited somebody would say.
Mm-hmm. So Anna, this is who we're going to really talk about. Real name withheld. Anna infiltrated McDavid's group, provided encouragement, reportedly helped plan the conspiracy, and may have provided financial support for the plot. AKA the FBI paid for these people to burn down BLM land and release wild horses. The FBI withheld thousands of pages of documents. Epstein files, anybody? About Anna from the defense. A federal judge agreed that withholding evidence would likely have changed the outcome. They released one of the people that they arrested after serving 9 years because entrapment was found to be true in the documents. So the FBI entrapped this group, potentially, and paid for them to burn down forest land and release wild horses.
Okay.
So who benefited from this? Well, the FBI benefited.
The horses.
The FBI. Apparently, the FBI was the number one domestic terrorist threat for years, which the FBI paid for and had an informant in and planned their stuff. allegedly they released some guys from jail because they planned it. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying the FBI said they did. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there you go.
Apparently the timber industry benefited because eco-terrorism threatened them. They grew stronger in their lobbying efforts, and public sympathy went their way.
Sure.
There was a Healthy Forest Restoration Act passed in 2003, which was passed. Critics argued that this enabled commercial logging of public forest land, and it was explicitly justified by the 2002 fire season, which included the elf attacks. The Vail Mountain Resort benefited. The 1998 fire destroyed the Two Elk Lodge, a structure Vail later rebuilt as a larger, more modern facility, reportedly collecting significant insurance.
Of course they did.
The expansion proceeded as normal and opened 2 years later, 15 months total after the fire.
Yeah, also fuck the links, right?
Yeah,
burn
fuck
down
the
their
links.
shit, and then
Fuck the links.
we can build it back better and bigger.
Apparently, the University of Washington benefited as they burned down a wooden research facility and they replaced it with a modern fire retardant structure.
Yeah.
With insurance money that we paid
fucking
for.
eco-terrorists here. All of our stuff that houses non-genetic engineering data needs to be fireproof now because the terrorists here aren't smart enough to target the right targets. They're leaderless, don't you know? Leaderless.
They are leaderless. So, this ELF was designated as a green scare.
I love, though, that for the Vail thing, the Blue Sky Basin expansion, they burned it down, but it still opened on schedule. Almost like it was planned.
Almost like they had to demo the building.
Uh-huh.
But instead of demoing the building, they just burned it down.
Insurance,
collected
man.
the insurance. And then the FBI said it was a terrorist group that they had an informant in. Not saying there's a
what's her name?
Pattern. My name?
Anna. No,
Anna.
Not your name.
Yeah, Anna.
Anna. Anna infiltrated it.
Anna is an anonymous.
Yeah. I want a movie about that. I want a movie about Anonymous Anna taking out the world's worst fucking terrorist organization ever.
Yeah. So, under the Bush administration, which we all know was a servant of Satan.
Haven't they all been?
Yes. Yes. Yes, they have. At least in my lifetime. At least in my lifetime. So, the Green Scare designation. Property crime was made the equivalent of terrorism under 18 U.S.C. #2331. Apparently, they passed some legislation that enabled enhanced sentences for individuals committing property crimes that were designated as terrorism. Apparently, they have a communications management unit, which they expanded to include these elf terrorists. So they passed a new law enacting or enabling them to charge property criminals with terrorism, and then they allowed these property criminals to be put into special terrorist units, which I'm sure do not embezzle money. Surely they don't embezzle money.
Well, they can't.
Right? They can't. So, the American Civil Liberties Union obtained FBI documents showing the FBI tried to establish non-governmental organization ties to ELF, despite internal documentation showing they had no evidence of those links. And the FBI didn't charge the person who committed the most crimes while also withholding documents about their informant. So I'm not saying the FBI made it up, but apparently the FBI tried to create a terrorist organization with people they planted at the organization and paid for all the terrorist attacks so they could enact laws to make it easier to prosecute American citizens for being terrorists.
But they didn't know anything about it.
But they didn't know anything about it, even though the people doing the crimes were the people that were on their payroll at the time, and they paid for all their stuff to be able to do these like petty crimes.
Damn you,
basically.
Anna. Damn you.
I'm not saying there's a pattern, but it seems there's a pattern.
Well, pattern adjacent for sure.
Pattern adjacent. All right, we're going to move on to number 2, the FALN.
Do.
And I've heard of FALN. They're pretty popular guys.
Sure.
Pretty popular guys. So the FALN, the Armed Forces of National Liberation, was a Puerto Rican Marxist-Leninist organization that conducted 130 bomb attacks in U.S. cities between 1974 and 1983.
God, they sounded a lot more efficient than fucking Elf.
Well, the FALN was legit. They were fighting against the U.S. government. I mean, like, so some of these South and Central American countries, they had some resistance organizations. And Puerto Rico, though they are a territory of the United States currently, they don't particularly... The version of me that lives in Puerto Rico does not want to be involved with the United States. And I respect that. Right? Like if I lived in Puerto Rico and I was born in Puerto Rico and I was just me there would not want to be part of the United States.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah,
I understand.
I mean,
why.
they get all the negatives of being like a state and none of the positives.
They get none of the positives. They don't have any states' rights. They get fucked over on their taxes. It's a tax haven. So they get all these rich assholes running around doing their horrible baby-eating pedophile crimes there, just getting away with it because they don't have the same authority that a state government has. So if Bill Gates comes there and eats your baby, the local magistrate doesn't really have authority to hunt Bill Gates down when he crosses the border like they would here. So they can do all kinds of crazy stuff and get away with it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So they get a lot of the negative parts about being in the U.S. and none of the positive parts. If you live there, if I were to move there as a tax haven, it would be great. But
of course it would.
Of course it would. But then I would have to be like a billionaire because being a millionaire ain't enough. So,
no.
Right. Like,
I can't even imagine. These days is the nuclear family man of the 50s or something, right?
Sure.
Well, inflation.
Nuclear
and all
family
that
man
shit.
of the 50s. Oh my God, that's
whatever, right? I don't know. I mean, in the 50s, you had one income, and you were doing you were putting the erasers on pencils, and you could support a family and have 18 kids and buy new cars and shit, have a house. And nowadays, it's like we're competing with AI and fucking pedophiles.
Well, it's true.
We don't have shit.
Walden Pond. God, what was that author's name?
Yeah, Emerson?
No. Emerson was his benefactor. The
actual
author.
Yeah, he was a benefactor. Thoreau. Yeah.
So Thoreau, he died of cancer because his family ran a pencil-making company. Okay. So he was like the black sheep, and he couldn't get his shit together to run this company, so his brother took it over, I guess. And of course, they didn't make quite enough money to support their loser brother, so Emerson had to support him. But back in the day, you could
the thruple, but
they had a thruple going on and all that weirdness. But back in the day, you could make pencils in rural Concord, Massachusetts, or whatever, and be just fine. You'd be like a famous person.
Yeah, you'd be the fancy rich guy throwing parties in town.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of wacky.
Why do you need a number 2 HB pencil for all of your SAT exams? Fucking Emerson's dad or Thoreau's dad. That's why.
Right. It's a scam.
Gotta be.
Which we're going to skip over a little bit of this, but in 1972, apparently there were 1,900 bombings in the U.S. I wonder what the bombing total is now. Didn't look it up, but I imagine it's not quite the same as it was then. So the FALN, man, they had a ton of bombings, and most of them killed people. So we have 75, 74, 74 through 8, 77, and all of these bombings are at real targets. They have JP Morgan offices. They have government buildings. They have booby traps for police officers. They have mobile oil offices. They have department stores, banks, and government offices in various cities, mostly New York and Chicago, which happens to be where Puerto Rican immigrants moved to. Not surprising. And
all of these immigrants from really warm areas fucking love Chicago and Minneapolis. Somalians, Puerto Ricans.
In recent times. That in modern times. Back in the day, the East and West Coast got a lot of the immigrants. Now the Midwest does because we have more room, I think. And we don't have Class A cities.
Sure.
Chicago is a Class A city now. I don't think Chicago was a Class A city in 1980. I think it was still a B-tier
Chicago's been
city.
a major national hub for a lot of things, mostly the meat industry.
It was an industrial hub, but Minneapolis was an industrial hub. It's still not a Class A city in the same way that Los Angeles or
Well,
Mexico City or New York is.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
Like A tier being megalopolis type of city. Chicago is there now, but I don't know if it was in 1980, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would have to look at the stats and
Well,
see
yeah, I don't
stuff.
know either.
Like Minneapolis is certainly not a A-tier city right now.
No.
Best guess was there 4.5 million people in the metro area right now, something like that.
Mhm.
So in Minneapolis, St. Paul,
Yeah.
which is B, that's a B tier. That's not an A tier.
Yep.
And everybody who I've talked to so many people who are visiting from Chicago, and they talk shit about how small Minneapolis is. So that tells you how big Chicago has become.
Yeah, well, I've been to Chicago several times. And it's big, but it's not New York City big. New York City is a completely different landscape.
I am such a hick that I have never been to either New York or Chicago.
Well, that is fine. We will have to plan a Shabbos with Simha in
I would
Chicago
love that.
sometime soon.
I would love to go visit.
We will outdrink him as I outdrink him last Shabbos. I'm still a winner
Oh my
of
gosh.
Shabbos 2025. So
Is now the time to talk about it, or is a
Let's
later
do
time
it.
the time to talk about it?
let's talk about it now.
Okay, so I went to visit Nate last weekend.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, we'll talk about it now in the middle of the episode. So
Let's do it now.
I talked to one of our listeners about it. It's not a secret. We are friends outside of the show.
What,
so I
you
went
and
there.
I are
We had
friends
a-
outside of the show?
I know, right? We had a very light drinking night. Very light. We got a 6-pack of strong beer. I believe they were around 10%. We'll just guess. I can't remember.
Yeah, somewhere
Doesn't
between
really
8 and 10% for sure.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And then a liter of Johnny Walker Black, which we got 2 beers in. I should have had 1 beer. I was only planning on having 1 beer. And Nate was like, we should order more beer. And I'm like, no. I'm just going to switch to whiskey. You have the beers. Nate drank the beers, and we drank some whiskey. And we sat and we bullshitted. And at the end of the night, we had a quarter, maybe 2/3 left of the liter. Somewhere
Not
in there. I don't
2/3,
know.
no, like a quarter for sure.
No, like a quarter left. Yeah, we drank 3/4 of a bottle.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
We drank
3/4 of the bottle and a 6-pack of 10% beer, which would be 18 Bud Lights. Well, no, it wouldn't be Bud Lights. It'd be 12 Bud Lights or 18 McGoldens/Miller Lights. And I was fine. Didn't have a hangover.
Yeah,
was
I didn't have a
100%
hangover the next
morning.
day.
Neither one of us had a hangover. We were golden. No worries. And Nate said that. Nate said that we both drank more whiskey than they drank in total. He went to go visit Simha.
Yeah.
Which
We're
I was
not-
like, we were really, really light. Like, we were not drinking.
Well, we were drinking, but we were not wanting to have the hangover. So we were pacing ourselves.
Yeah, I did not want a hangover. That was not an option for me. So,
Yeah. Should we do a cigar check, Mike?
yeah, I'm over halfway. I'm
Me
well over
too.
halfway.
Me too.
This is turning into a Jaw Jack episode and less of a fire episode, but that's all right.
I mean, we started with the world's worst terrorist organization known to man, probably.
Yeah, everybody's an FBI informant.
Yeah.
Of the 6 suspects,
the
I think there was 8.
leaderless.
Yeah, of the leaderless organization group,
organization.
1 committed suicide, 1 was state's evidence, and 1 was a plant. And they fucking released a bunch of horses and burned down some BLM land.
Yeah, and helped the
And helped
ski
the
lodge
resort
fuck
destroy a
over
lynx sanctuary. Like-
Yeah.
Anyway, this cigar is excellent.
Yes.
It did get really mild. This is mild now. It started off real spicy.
Yeah.
Full-bodied still, very well-rounded, but halfway through I'm getting much more mild. It's still a full-flavored cigar, but it's calmed down.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. The spice isn't there, but there's like it's almost like the LaCroix, like it's the hint of spice almost now, but it has mellowed out, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, if it would have maintained that level of spice or got stronger, it would have been unsmokable potentially.
Well, I think you and I would have liked it, but as we just mentioned with our just hanging out for funsies, we probably would have liked it a lot. You and me, but I don't know that anybody else would have. I think that for it to mellow out is probably a good call on their part.
I agree. So, the key actors for the FALN, which we didn't talk about any specific bombings, there were a bunch.
They're more successful, though, than ELF.
Way more. I mean, these are real terrorists / freedom
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the chart here, and it's like 4 killed, 60 wounded, 1 death, multiple injuries, property damage, 5-6 deaths total.
Oh, yeah, they're killing people.
It's
the FALN is trying to kill bankers and shit. Like, all these attacks are on mobile. They're on Exxon, JP Morgan, government offices. They're attacking buildings with people, and they're trying to kill executives of these
executive bankers
that are fucking
which,
them.
Before everybody cast the first stone, remember that's what Jesus wanted to do when he came in and flipped tables and started whipping bankers. So
we should almost have an episode about Jesus and his hatred of money makers.
But these people are doing the Lord's work legitimately.
If you take the Lord's work legitimately, you're not supposed to treat other people poorly in any way. So think about that, people. Anyway, so key actors. Oscar Lopez Rivera served 35 years in prison. He was released via a commuted sentence from Obama.
Thanks,
and
Obama.
The reason why this was semi-controversial was that Mr. Rivera was an Army veteran, Vietnam vet, received the Bronze Star. He was a big community organizer. Also, he never bombed anybody. He was a recruiter. Obama released him, never bombed a person, only a recruiter, allegedly. Sure. And then we have other people that are much less known. William Morales was injured when his own bomb exploded in Queens, 1978. Lost a bunch of fingers. Escaped police custody in 1979. Never to be found again.
1978, a bomb exploded in Queens, and it took him until 1980 to realize anything went off.
Apparently he's in Cuban exile.
Oh, good for him. He's got the good cigars, right?
Right. And they had, a bunch of other guys, all convicted, all went to jail.
They didn't have an Anna?
They did not have there was a lead investigator, there's government witnesses, participants, the typical sting operation.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Clinton gave clemency to 16 FALN members. There's a ton of them. This was, the FALN is a legitimate terrorist organization. So I'm covering it less. It's less interesting. It's well documented in the media. I knew about these guys. I learned about them in college. They're part of the whole legacy of South and Central American resistance to U.S. imperialism. So I don't know. There's a whole history behind that. We could do an episode on it, I guess.
Sure.
It's really interesting. People don't know about it. Maybe I will cover it, but there's a long legacy of resistance against U.S. imperialism in Central and South America for the last 100 and some years. So yeah. Number 3, the Hayman Fire.
Isn't that Hyman?
Hayman. Fucking Hyman.
I'm just trying to get Mike going at this point.
So, the Hayman Fire is the most famous single-person arson in American wildfire history. A U.S. Forest Service employee had patrolled for illegal campfires for 18 years, eventually set what became the largest wildfire in Colorado history. Fire burned 138,000 acres, destroyed 133 homes, killed 6 people, 5 firefighters, and evacuated 5,400 people, right around, and costs right in the $100,000 range.
How many wild horses did it liberate, Mike?
Right? So, there's some ambiguity in this, hey?
Hey,
the person
I hear you.
Who started the fire said that she was burning a letter from an estranged husband.
Sure.
The ATF found no microscopic paper ash in the campfire ring. Her husband said he wrote no letter, and after the fact changed the story. The prosecutor said it was said intentionally. The woman said that it was recklessness. She got 12 years in prison. So, in June 8th of 2002, Terry Lynn Barton, U.S. Forest Service Fire Prevention Technician, 18 years of service, fights a fire in Pike National Forest during a total burn ban.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Terry Barton reported her own fire, telling rangers she came upon a runaway campfire. CCTV contradicted this. So in 2002, in rural campfire land in Pike National Forest, they had CCTV. That tells you something here, people.
Yeah.
In 2002, they had cameras on the campsites in fucking Pike National Forest, wherever that is.
Well, Pikes Peak and all that shit, right?
I know it's Pikes Peak, but you know what I mean.
Well,
It's all in the middle of nowhere. How the hell do they have CCTV
but
there?
It's literally bumfuck nowhere, other than it's a national forest or whatever, right?
The next day, they had 50-mile-an-hour winds. 68,000 acres were burned in one day. It's the most fire damage in a single day in Colorado history to that point.
So what's going on here, Mike?
What do you mean?
So the way you set this up was that Terry was just fucking bored as fuck at her job and just started a fire to have something to do. But then her story was she was burning a letter from her estranged husband. And then he was like, I didn't write a letter, but then maybe I did. So what the fuck is she doing? CCTV contradicted what? Like, what did she actually do?
The CCTV footage is not in my documentation. So I am assuming that she lit a fire in a camp ring and it got out of control, as she said.
Sure.
Because it was in a burn ban. And if you fucking light a fire in a burn ban that's windy, obviously, wind conditions take fire away. You know, that 3-foot flame becomes 9 foot real quick. I have no idea.
But I mean she's
it
not
doesn't
part
make any
of,
sense.
So we've had this is number 3. We've had 2 terrorist organizations, one terrible and one actually knowing what they're doing. But she's not, I mean, they call her an arson, which I guess is technically accurate, but she didn't have a political agenda, right?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there.
Carry on.
So, fire burns. One day after the fire, they arrest her. Inconsistencies in the story. They have video of her doing it. 20 days later, fire's out. 140,000 acres, 133 homes, 5,400 people. Later that year, 4 months later, she pleads guilty to 2 federal charges.
All right.
So, 2003, Healthy Forest Restoration Act was signed. Shocking. President George W. Bush signs this act in December of 2003. This fire was explicitly listed as a catalyst.
Sure.
The law was used to justify commercial logging on public lands. 2004, the husband changes his account again.
Must have been one fucking hell of a blowjob, tell you what.
He says he wrote a letter. The ATF already said there was no fucking letter. They have video footage of her not lighting a letter on fire. The fire cause remains unsolved to this day.
All right.
So great. So great.
I love this 2008 stat. We'll get there.
Yeah. Terry Lynn Barton, she gets a 12-year sentence, which is vacated and remanded. The judge apparently had fled his own home, which created an appearance of prejudice. 2008, they order $45,000 of restitution. Barton needs to pay $775 to $150 a month for 25,000 years.
Yeah.
With a deadline set for November 25th of 9,995, which is 7 millennia from the date of the fire. So, in 18, she gets unsupervised probation, and she has to get a full-time job. And as of 2023, she's paid $3,000 of restitution, with $14.5 million left. So, some unanswered questions here. Was there a letter? The ATF said there was no paper found in the fire. Was there intentional or negligent? The prosecutors argued intentional. The U.S. Forest Service said she has so many things that were untrue, and the judge refused to apply full restitution on grounds of not condemning her to poverty.
Sure.
And why did she report herself? Barton called the fire in.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, Hartford, Allstate, and State Farm sued the U.S. Forest Service for $7 million, alleging training failures and radio channel misuse worsened the fire's spread. Denver Water spent $27 million to remove the sediment. Who benefited from this? The timber industry benefited. They passed a law allowing them to log, which I'm not against logging public land. Public lands in the United States are notoriously mismanaged.
Yeah.
So we do need to log our public land, but it needs to be logged in a way that allows for regrowth and not clear cut. And because people are so adamant on the anti-cutting woods down, we end up getting this sort of fucked up shit happening where they burn forests down to pass laws that allow them to clear cut instead of just rationally clearing land and culling the forest the same way that they cull wild horse populations or buffaloes or whatever. Like, we need to manage the land.
Well, a more apt description would be the way that farmers rotate crops in a field. Like it's almost the same. You've got a forest and you can't have an old growth forest because old growth forests are not diverse. They're homogeneous and they don't really benefit wildlife. Sure, they might be beautiful, but they're not environmentally useful.
My understanding is that the medieval European forest system is what we should strive for, which is a multi-age, multi-use forest system.
Yeah.
But that requires active land management that we lack the personnel to perform.
Sure.
So
or the Native
they allow
American.
Yeah. Yep.
They either allowed the forest fires or started forest fires to rejuvenate portions of land, from what I understand.
And that is well documented. That the Native Americans in North America would actively start forest fires periodically to regrow the forest. And where I live in a forest. You can see the tree species that are intended to survive a fire. And there's other tree species that must have fire in order to reproduce even.
Yep.
So killing off the fire cycle is ruining the natural environment. And it does kill smaller mammals and smaller animals and the bugs and shit like that. But larger megafauna escape fires, usually, if the fire cycle happens often enough to where the underbrush doesn't cause a flash fire. Flash fire is what kills the large animals.
Yeah.
And flash fire doesn't happen when you have regular fires. It's one of the things that I, for those who know me, I am actively trying to do some forest management right now to prevent a flash fire. It's gotten to the point in my land to where I am at risk to get a flash fire. So I will just finish off this section here and we'll move on to the next section. So, the beneficiaries of this Hayman fire, timber industry got themselves some legislation passed that apparently made them $705 million. The Bush administration got a win. The U.S. Fire Service budget got increased. The Denver Water Authority lost a ton of money, and the insurance companies made some money. So, on to fire number 4. This is going to be Brian Perret in Quebec, Canada. Brian Perret is the most perfectly documented case of the conspiracy theorist arsonist, a figure who simultaneously promoted theories that governments were starting wildfires deliberately while himself setting 14 wildfires in Quebec. His case is also the clearest documented example of how conspiracy disinformation about fire causation travels alongside and enables actual arson. Brian Perret is a Quebec man with no documented professional background in forestry or government. He became active on social media, spreading theories about the Canadian government deliberately setting wildfires as a part of the climate agenda of the WEF. He pled guilty to 14 counts of arson in Quebec. Set fires in the same season. He was publicly claimed those fires, while claiming those fires were being set by the government. Perret was covered extensively by international media as an example of government arson conspiracy theory.
So he pled guilty to 14 counts of arson, but he has no knowledge of anything to do with forests or government.
And he was an online conspiracy theorist in Quebec.
Perfect.
Well known, well documented. It was all in French.
Tell me you're not a plant without telling me you're not a plant.
Right, because French cannot be translated to English. Impossible.
It's never happened.
Never happened. It's kind of like listening to Bibi in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you hear French and you just
translated
get
to
all
English.
horned up and you can't do anything else.
Impossible for us English speakers to know what's being said if it's not in English, because
Indeed.
translations don't exist. Weird. So, the Canadian government alleges there is a conspiracy ecosystem between the Canadian government and the WEF. Not that their former leader was a WEF stooge who is now apparently partying with Katy Perry in Coachella with plastic cups. Did you see that meme?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, apparently Justin Trudeau is now banging, what's her name? Katy Perry, who was a pop star back in the day.
Oh,
I guess.
I heard about their relationship like several years ago.
I don't know. It's big on the internet right now. Apparently Justin Trudeau is partying at Coachella with Katy Perry drinking beer out of plastic cups.
Yeah, well, I also
guess
saw
that's an
she's been
issue.
taking the Ozempic, so she's got the same like skeleton look everyone else has that does Ozempic.
It's weird. Very strange, very strange.
I'm glad I don't care about that stuff.
This guy apparently independently set 14 fires, but it's all secret because it's in French.
If only somebody knew
idea.
French. Only somebody knew French.
If
And
only
English.
it wasn't in French, then we could understand why this guy was saying the government was starting fires. Very strange goings on. All right, going on to number 5, the spectacle
Everybody
fire.
needs a patsy, Mike.
Everybody. I'm not saying there's a trend.
Sure.
I'm just saying the last lady, she's got community service and a $75 a month bill and a full-time job. Okay.
25,000 years.
For fucking whatever, 7,000 years. 9,995 is the years that she's done paying. But
Yeah.
she's got to work a full-time job, and she's only on probation for 15 years, unsupervised.
Yep.
So that means she can smoke weed. You know, I can't even fucking smoke weed and shoot a gun in this country, but she can do it and pay her $15 million in restitution for the fire that was started without paper, but that she said she started with paper.
Yeah. But also there's CCTV footage that nobody knows what actually showed.
That is correct. So, number 5, the spectacle fire. A documented subset of arson cases involves fires set specifically for media attention. These fires range from explicitly political to purely attention-seeking. The section documents some stuff. So, this looks like a bad section here. I discovered a bad section because these are FALN, ELF.
A summation. This is everything we've talked about so far.
Yeah, this is summation. Oh,
Well,
hey,
it's basically
there's some more, though.
basically showing that it's for media coverage and not for.
Brian Perret, his own audience, and then we have the McMansion fires in 08.
The elf people.
Which is apparently an unknown elf cell. Okay.
Well, they don't have a leader. How would you ever know?
Yeah, how would you ever know? How would you ever know?
You could almost blame every fire ever in the history of fires on elf because they don't have a leader. So nobody's there to take credit for
and
the
everybody's
fire.
in jail, and they had an informant and a plant. Well, that's
Everybody
garbage.
in the ELF program was FBI, and they thought they were outdoing one another, but they were just playing themselves.
It reminds me of the attempted abduction of the governor of Michigan, where there were 13 conspirators and 12 were FBI.
Yeah. But goddamn, did they pin that one guy? Holy shit.
Right? All right. So apparently number 5 was a bust. Sorry, guys. So number 6, government infiltrators, informants, and entrapment. U.S. law enforcement infiltration of fire-related domestic groups is inseparable from the broader history of COINTELPRO and its successors. In the ELF and environmental activist cases. Dude, that is a long one. That is as long as the Canadian meme right there, I tell you.
Right.
Yeah. It's COIN. COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO.
Yeah, it
looks like
it stands for missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yeah.
Something
like
LGBTQ and plus sign.
Yeah. The important part is that in the ELF and environmental activist cases, documented government infiltration went beyond passive intelligence gathering. In at least one confirmed case, which they have 2 people, so it's not one. It's Eric McDavid, who did every ELF fire, and Anna, who they redacted 3,000 documents from. An FBI informant participated in planning the conspiracy, provided the fucking financial support, and they withheld the evidence. A sequence that a federal court determined warranted Eric McDavid's release. So, documented infiltration cases. These are cases that we know for a fact the U.S. government paid for. The ELF infiltrator Jacob Ferguson. Method, existing cell co-founder. Turned informant. He participated in nearly every attack that the ELF committed. He wore a wire, made FBI-funded cross-country trips, manipulated comrades into incriminating statements. He spent 7 to 13 years in jail. No, he didn't. He had completed immunity. Everybody he informed on got 7 to 13 years in jail. Separate. This is a separate thing. ELF again, the Eric McDavid cell, the guy who hung himself.
Allegedly.
Anna, the Anna cell, infiltrated the group, provided encouragement, provided money, FBI withheld. Again, he got released from jail. The FALN, multiple unnamed informants. The FBI dedicated surveillance teams in Puerto Rico and New York City and Chicago. The FALN was extremely difficult to penetrate due to cell discipline. The FBI relied primarily on accidents and surveillance, a.k.a. the FBI knew what the FALN was doing.
Yeah, but I'm guessing the FALN was difficult to penetrate because they had a leader.
They had a leader and they had a political movement. They had an actual action plan, aka Puerto Rico not being part of the United States.
Yeah.
So there was yokels like people listening that wanted to do it. Unlike Elf, where they're burning down U.S. Forest Service
just random
stations
bullshit,
and releasing wild horses and burning down SUV dealerships and shit.
Yeah.
What a joke.
I have a question, Mike.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, 12 out of 13 people are FBI informants, and we've got a lot of these things we're talking about this episode. These organizations are made up of, I don't know, potentially a majority of FBI people. If you or I were walking across a bridge and somebody was debating jumping to commit suicide, and if we encouraged them, we would potentially be held legally liable for their actions.
That is correct, to my understanding.
And
yes,
you've got 12 out of 13 members of a group encouraging one person to break the law, and that's not questioned?
My dude.
Right?
In 2015, 64.5% of the dollars I made went into taxes in the United States. And we are convinced as a country that we're not taxed as much as Europe. That's the argument, right? Like, oh, well, our taxes are high, but look at the Europeans. It's so high. Well, I can tell you, for a fact, I calculated it in 15. I bought a new truck, so that affected it, obviously, because I paid all that tax in 1 year. That pushed it up, for sure, and it was brand new. But I paid 64.5% of my income into tax that year.
Yep.
So we're paying a significant portion of our money into tax, especially if you consider, think about it, friends. If you're paying, let's just say you're paying 33% to federal and state combined. And then, so you get your 66%. Like number of the beast, and you get her in, and then you go and buy something, and then you pay your local tax and your state tax and whatever other tax there is. So if you're buying liquor, you got liquor tax, state tax, federal tax, local state, blah, blah, blah. So everything you're buying has tax. You buy gas, you have the gas price, you have the gas tax, federal, you have the gas tax, state, and then whatever other taxes there are. Everything you buy is taxed.
Yeah.
So you're taxed on your income, and then you're taxed out the door.
Yeah, your income tax. You're taxed on buying it. You're taxed on saving it.
You're taxed. So if you go over a certain amount on eBay, if you're selling your shit, you get taxed. Everything is taxed. If you gamble
multiple
and you win
times
more than $300 in the state of Minnesota, I believe, you have to file it as income. And then if you hit over $5,000, you got to start showing documents saying that you lost more than you won. So everything is taxed. Everything
multiple
is taxed.
times. It's not
multiple
just
levels
that everything
of tax.
is taxed. Like if everything was taxed, that would be a walk in the park. But everything is taxed multiple times because it's tax coming into you, it's tax going out of you, it's taxed later, it's retaxed and taxed again. It doesn't. It makes sense if you're in the ruling class, but it does not make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me. I'll tell you that. Because every time I spend my money, I was taxed coming in and tax going out.
Yep.
There's even a tax to take your money out of the bank if you go to an ATM, right? Because you pay the ATM fee.
ATM
That's
fee.
tax. I don't care what you say. That's a fucking tax. So, because the government is ruled by corporations, and the corporations, they're charging you that money. So, you got to look at the shadow government. Who's running things? Who's running things? You're taxed at every level. Every time you spend $1, you're being taxed.
Yep.
And you're taxed on your tax. So if you spend $1, if you spend 50 cents, you were taxed 50 cents on that.
Yep.
At least. So you spend $1, you're getting fucked. You're getting fucked.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. And that's why people say go to your local bookseller. Go to your local this. Go to your local that. Because they're trying not to charge you tax as best as they can.
Yeah, and there's those people out there. These people need to stop. There's people out there that say, oh, if this business only accepts cash, they're trying to dodge taxes. And they say it like it's a bad thing. No, go support them more. Support them harder than you support fucking Barnes & Noble or Amazon.
Nate, I'll tell you. I'll tell every listener here. Damn near every business I go to, I write a check from my checking account out of my checkbook.
Yep.
Nearly every business I go to, groceries, my local bookseller, the bowling alleys, most of the places I go to, they accept checks still. So I'm buying from local-owned businesses, and they want checks. They don't want credit cards.
Nope.
They don't particularly want cash. They want checks. You can't steal a check, and there's no tax. All they got to do is turn it in, and they get the money. You know, they keep the physical copy, it gets turned in over the internet, and they get paid directly into their account from the bank. And that's what we need to start doing. You need to start carrying a checkbook and asking them to take your checks. And I know, like, where you live, Nate, they're not going to start taking checks. You're in a big city.
No.
I live in the middle of nowhere. They take my checks. Every business I go to takes my checks, and I write them a check every single time. Every single time I pay cash, or I write them a check if I can. And I prefer a check. So... And it's good. They want a check. Every business person I talk to, they want a check.
Sure.
Because they can walk, like, well, where I live, they're walking 2 blocks down and my bank's right there. So
yeah,
they know that it's good. If it's not good, the bank will still cash it, even though I don't have the money. The bank wants their reputation upheld in the town. So small town living, all that.
Oh yeah.
But that's how we got to be. You know, you gotta fight these fuckers.
But you gotta find the least beneficial way. Every way you pay is beneficial to the ruling class, but you have to find the least beneficial way.
Right. And I don't think Bill Gates wants people paying with checks.
Probably not.
They don't want to cash either, but it's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. I'd rather have checks than cash anyway. It's harder to steal my checks.
I'll tell that to Abigail.
So, back to the episode.
Yes. Where are we at, Mike? We're going to number 7?
Nah, we're still on number 6. Halfway in between.
Sure.
Halfway in between. So,
Cointilla Pro?
Yeah. Aaron K. Pieman, not FBI monitored.
Love
apparently.
him.
FBI COINTELPRO. FBI created files on and monitored individuals who engaged in pie throwing contests.
What?
A non-violent comedic protest. Apparently, this was a terrorist group according to the organization.
Sure.
So, this is where it goes, people. It goes from the elf, who was funded by the FBI, to attacking pie throwing contests, which I don't even know why the pie throwing contest is involved with this, but it is.
Well,
so
it's capitalist propaganda, Mike. Pie throwing contest.
I mean, that's a meme, but it's unfortunately true.
Right.
I wish it wasn't true, guys. I wish it wasn't true. Elf prosecutions did not occur in a vacuum. They were a culmination of a documented pattern of FBI infiltration going back to the 60s. COINTELPRO, Communist Party type of stuff. The church committee exposed it in 75. They said they would never do it again. Hey, they said they wouldn't do it again.
Goodness. They promised.
They would not do it.
Pinky promise.
They would not do it. 60 years ago, 50 years ago, they said they wouldn't do it. Never happen again, guys. They said it. Project Monarch stopped. MK Ultra stopped. All of it stopped. They just stopped doing it. Church committee happened. All these naughty boys, they stopped doing all the research. That's what we're led to believe, hey? That's what we're led to believe, right? That's what they tell us.
Gotta believe what they tell us.
Magically. Magically. The FALN rises. They get a bunch of bombings. The FBI increases their budget. They're the number one threat. They get busted in the 90s. All of a sudden, there's a green scare in the 90s. The ELF, they rise up. We know that they had an infiltrator and a guy who turned. And they pass a shit ton of legislation. All of a sudden in the 2010s, early aughts 2010s, now we get all these individual fires, right? So here we go. These individual guys, we're going to go back to the beginning. We started with the ELF, not the logical order. So before the ELF, there was a FALN. And before the FALN, there was the COINTELPRO, right?
Yep.
So the FBI said there was a bunch of domestic fires started by the communists. And then they said it was a bunch of eco-terrorists. And then they said it was the fucking family group. And then they said it was a bunch of individual terrorists. None of these individual terrorists even went to jail, friends. Do you understand me?
Why would they?
Why would they go to jail? They have They have CCTV footage of the starting of the fire. According to the government, they have a starting of the fire. That's what they told us. And she's not in jail. She's serving a 7,000-year penalty, and she has to work in U.S. Forest Service. That's the penalty. The penalty is you have to continue doing what you were already doing until you die.
Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense because if you are in arson working for the Forest Service, they would not let you continue to work for the Forest Service. That
She's
would
government
not make
ordered to work.
any sense, right? If you're embezzling from your company and the legal punishment is you continue working for the company you were embezzling from, it does not make sense.
I'm not saying there's a pattern, gentlemen, but there seems to be links. Maybe I'm crazy. It's possible. Alrighty. We're going to cover some more stuff here. We're going to move on.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Gotta do it. All right. So, beyond organized cells and political movements, a significant proportion of deliberate major fires are set by lone actors with combinations of psychiatric disorder, accelerationist ideology, personal grievance, or the specific pathology.
Wait, sane people with healthy coping mechanisms don't start fires? That is news to me.
News to me. So, there's a documented increase. Since approximately 2015, law enforcement agencies in the U.S., UK, Australia, and Germany have documented a specific increase in accelerationist-like arson threats. And they got some fires here.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a guy named James Mason who started a fire. We got some wildfire attractants being issued. We got FBI, DHS issued specific joint intelligence bulletins in 2020. What year was that, gentlemen? Warning that accelerationist-linked groups were using social media to encourage setting wildfires during the California-Oregon fire season.
He was on our radar.
Ah, weird. Weird. So we got some analysis. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip all that. I think we're good. I think we got the pattern here.
Well, yeah.
We got the document if you really want to read it. It's
out there.
Yeah, it's up there. I think we got the pattern, though. So
we do. It's interesting or funny, but not really funny. You know what I mean? Where when you look at it, how we're looking at it, I mean, we're not digging super deep necessarily. I mean, Mike's digging, you're digging deeper than...
Dude, I am just a hick in the sticks.
I know, but you're digging deeper than like Fox or CNN.
The surface. Wow, Fox and CNN is state media. Media.
I'm just saying you don't have to be super crazy investigative journalist to find this information because it's out there. And to say like, gee, out of the 3 episodes we've talked about, the government sure seems to be referenced and mentioned a lot. And not in they're trying to prevent this stuff kind of way. Like they're trying to incite it or they're directly benefiting from it in Greece's case. And even here.
Dude, in the U.S.'s case, every single fire we've had in the United States was...
Yeah.
So the way power works... You don't need to cause the fire. You just need to exploit the damage. And if you can cover it up, even better. Dilute it. Make it obfuscated. Make it difficult to understand so that there is shadow of doubt. Shadow of doubt in our system creates elimination of liability. And what my business is involved with, not to get too detailed, I'm in the business of limiting liability, right? Nate, I'm sure part of your job is limiting liability, but limiting liability is the name of the game.
That's the game everywhere, basically.
The name of the game everywhere, really. And if you can obfuscate and limit liability, you can profit.
Yep.
And if you're the FBI, you can push it. Obviously, they have people involved with these terror cells that are causing fires on purpose, which our government is apparently paying for, admittedly.
Yeah, and then
the government has admitted, we covered today, the government has admitted to starting fires in our country. So it's just kind of like we haven't covered it directly. I don't know how deep we want to get into it, but many mass shooting events are very similar. Not sure how far we want to get into that on the show, but
well, it's one of those
there's a lot of
things
line
where
over
you
there.
don't want to notice things, certain things, because if you notice certain things, you get put on a watch list.
Exactly. We don't want to be on that list. Let's put it that way. We don't want to be on that
Well,
list.
we don't want to be on
So-
it, and we don't want you to be on it.
No, we don't want anybody to be on any lists. But there's a pattern. We're trying to show you patterns. You come up with your own conclusions. I am not telling you what to think. I am not encouraging you to think any way. I am simply presenting evidence about things that are not talked about often on media and backing it up with data.
Yes.
Nate and I have had this conversation off air many times. I'm not sure if what I'm doing is good or bad. I'm simply trying to present evidence. I'm giving you documents. We're talking about it live on air. I am not Whitney Webb. I am not a research journalist. I am a hick in the sticks, simply providing you with what you already have access to. I am generating nothing new. I am simply providing you with thoughts and patterns. Maybe patterns. It's content that maybe has a pattern, right? Maybe has a pattern. And I think that a lot of the situations that we experience are generated. And those which are not generated still are generated in the background because of statistical likelihood, right? Similar to how the ICE protests erupted in Minneapolis. Completely logical if you look at it from a larger, a higher point of view.
Yep.
When you look at the ICE raids across the country that culminated in Pretty and Good dying on 33rd Street in Minneapolis, of course it happened that way. Of course, you're ramping up tension. You're pushing people into a corner. You target these neighborhoods with these people who are politically motivated, and then you put people who are doing things that are purposefully wrong, who are poorly trained in situations that are dangerous, and then, of course, bad things happen. This is logical stuff. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. It's a clear pattern if you move out and watch what they're doing. I'm saying that we're living in an altered reality.
Man.
Things are happening in the background.
When 12 of the 13 actors in a certain event are FBI or government people, it's not a terrorist cell, man.
Dude, like that governor being abducted, the story about the governor being abducted, that should tell you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That was a news story. They tried to make it a news story, and then the backlash immediately shut it down. And then they don't want us to talk about it or remember it. They don't want you to remember it.
And most people don't.
They don't want you to remember it. They want you to think about whatever the fuck is going on right now.
Yeah,
And,
which whatever it is. It's too
it's
much
horrible. Whatever they're doing to you.
Well, it's too much to keep
putting a
track of
screw
what's
into you.
going on right now.
Well, the government's all trying to fuck us all.
But yeah, I mean, it's different now than it was when we recorded this. And it's different now than when you're listening to it. And it's going to be different again in a week.
Right. Like, we're focusing a lot on the war in Iran right now. They deny boots on the ground. So we're recording on the 14th of April. Officially, there's no boots on the ground. However, they did try to invade an island and get repelled. So we did try to get boots on the ground. They called it a recovery mission. And our president put out a meme that he was Jesus, and then a couple days ago, he praised Allah on Easter.
It's a doctor outfit.
Yeah, it's a doctor outfit. And he didn't praise Allah on Easter, the same day that King Charles praised Allah on Easter. Like, I'm not anti-Islam by any means. However, social discontent based on religion is a reality. I don't think that any leader of our countries believe in any of the religions that we follow. So that's all nonsense. I think they're sacrificing babies to Baal. So it's irrelevant. Like, to them, it's irrelevant. But to us, it matters. Like, on Easter, we had the English leading countries praising Allah on Easter. That matters. That matters a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't care about religion, but like most of the people that voted for him cite religious reasons, and then not all the religious
He
reasons.
talks about fucking genociding people and praising Allah on Easter,
Yeah.
the day that Jesus was killed,
Supposedly.
allegedly. Or rose.
Rose.
No, he rose on
Yeah.
Easter, right? Yeah.
What
It's
are you
unreal.
rating?
The
What are you
psyop. The psyop
what-
is unreal. It's
Yeah.
fucking unreal, dude.
It's nuts, man. It surpasses logic, we'll say. What are you rating this cigar, Mike?
Good question.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
We got to. It's that time.
Oh. I can't give it a 5. It didn't finish strong.
I can't give it a 5. It didn't finish strong, but we smoked this right after we did the Romeo y Julieta Modales de Oro Vintage Toro, and I gave that one a 4.5. And I feel like this one was better than that one, so I gave it a 4.75. I felt it was really good. It started really strong. I smoked it until I burned my fingers, so I liked it. What about you, Mike?
I liked it. It started off extremely strong, but it did fail to deliver. I felt that about the halfway mark, it started to die off, and it became a very mid-grade cigar.
Sure.
Which is why I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
It started off excellent. If it would have stayed there, I would have gave it a 5. I wanted to give it a 5.
Yep.
But at the end, it just stopped. It never turned sour.
Nope,
right?
never turned sour.
We're going to defend it. It did not turn sour. It was good smoke all the way through.
Yep.
But it did become very mediocre for at least a quarter, maybe a third of the cigar.
Sure.
So I have to
wonder
give it a 4.5.
if we would have smoked it maybe a little slower. And I don't feel like we smoked it overly fast. I mean, we're coming up on 2 hours of this episode, and we just put the
time
cigars
was 2
up.
hours for our cigar here. So
Yeah,
I don't feel that we smoked it too fast. I just think that the way it presented, it just kind of died off, and that's not a bad thing. It's better
not
than being
necessarily
sour.
a bad thing.
Better than being sour.
Yeah,
So,
I think it was a hell of a start, and it did taper off throughout, but it was enjoyable and tasty throughout. So I feel like it was very solid, and that's why I gave it the 4.75. But
well, I'm just glad that you rated a cigar higher than I did for once. It's a break.
I don't know. I feel like there's been some that I have. So like even the Hoya Red Robusto, I rated higher than you. You gave it a 3.5. I gave it a 4. So
oh yeah, no,
it's not.
There's cigars.
And
cigars. I'm more forgiving to the shit cigars than you are, and you're more exuberant about the mediocre ones than I am. So.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's all good. We have different predilections or whatever, but we if we're the same, it's not useful sometimes, right?
No.
For the listener.
We're trying to help people. So.
Yeah. But don't start forest fires, and maybe don't join the FBI to convince one person out of your 27-person group to start forest fires, because that's entrapment.
Do not be an informant, for fuck's sake. What are you doing? What are you doing? People, what are you doing serving the evil, man? If you're an informant, obviously don't be involved with evil shit. But if the government is paying you to do the evil shit, what are you doing? The government had paid for many of these forest fires. Clearly.
If the government is paying you to do illegal shit, it's probably some pretty bad illegal shit.
Right.
Because
of the forest fire covery here, we have 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Every single one, but maybe 1 or 2 in the very last episode here. There might have been 1 or 2 of these weirdos who just started fires, maybe on their own. But every single other one, the government was involved. Does that not bother anybody else? How is the government involved with all this?
Yeah.
Well, how is there multiple points of fires? 14 fires, and it's in French, so we can't tell you.
Nobody knows.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's the same with all of the shootings, not just school shootings, but any of the shootings. And it's, the shooter was on our radar. He was on our watch list.
Bondi Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All of them.
What is the watch list for then? If you're not going to do anything to stop it or prevent it?
It's to watch. Yeah, it's to watch.
Like, is it
Apparently
your,
it's
like
stuff.
your Pornhub saved for later list? I mean,
Dude.
what are we doing here?
They fucking know everything about us, man.
Yeah.
They fucking know everything about us. You're telling me in 2002 they had video footage of this bitch starting a fire, and they said it was started by paper, and then a different agency said there was no paper in the fire.
And the husband
And
was
then
like,
she
there was no
doesn't get
paper.
jail.
And then all of
She
a
gets
sudden
a
the
bunch of
husband is
fucking-
like, there is paper?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going
what
on?
are we doing? She gets $75 a month she has to pay, and then she's court mandated to have a job.
Yeah.
And then what? She's working in forestry again, or
At
what?
the same, same position she had.
Yeah,
If,
what are
if
we doing
only,
here?
if only we could give those kind of repayment terms to anybody with a student loan, right? You can give
shit.
that to an arson, but you can't give it to somebody who has a student loan.
System is rigged.
What are we doing as a country?
We know.
We know.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Brothers. We know. Brothers and sisters. If we have any sisters listening, I don't know the demographics. Hey.
We do.
Brothers and sisters. Sisters first, as always. What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? We know. We know.
We know.
We know.
Yeah. Well, as always, thank you for listening. Be sure to check out our Instagram, our Facebook, our website, niceashespodcast.com. It links to everything else. Our Patreon, we have the documentation up there from this episode. We have documentation from our H.P. Lovecraft episode. It has the books to read, what order to read them in, which ones are racist, which ones aren't. It has a 12-month reading program if you wanted to run your own H.P. Lovecraft-esque reading club, book club, whatever, what have you. We have outtakes. We have Spice Rack stuff where we say things that might not be for everybody's ears, but if you subscribe there, you can hear it. There was a hell of a joke Mike told that is over there on the Spice Rack, but it's not out here for the general population. We're lots of places. Go find us, like us, give us a comment, reach out to us, tell us what you like, don't like, recommend cigars. Fuck yeah. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week, and thanks for listening.
Be safe, have fun.